Okay.
I see the theme.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I have a recording now. Alright. So first I'm going to read a book. Since our topic is recycling and Earth Day, you're writing a blog post, an informative blog post about your topic, recycling. So what you want to inform to the public, okay? Okay, so we're doing What Does It Mean to Be Green by Reina Diorio, illustrated by Chris Blair. What does it mean to be green? What does it mean to be green? Does it mean being good with plants? No. Does it mean feeling sick in the car? No. Does it mean looking like a frog or a pickle or an alien? No! Being green means turning all the lights on in your home only when you need them. Eating foods grown locally or even from your own garden. Walking to the park instead of getting a ride in a car. Packing your lunch in containers you bring home every day. Enjoying your ice cream in a cone rather than in a paper cup with plastic spoons. Picking up trash that isn't yours and putting it in the garbage. Putting bottles, cans, plastic, and paper into recycling bins. Do you see the recycling bins?
Yes.
Using your food scraps to make fertilizer for your garden. Collecting rainwater instead of using a hose. Drawing on two sides of your paper instead of just one. Giving the clothes you've outgrown to someone smaller than you. We've done that before, right?
Yes.
For sure, right?
Yes.
We've done that all the time. We just hand-me-downs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing your pajamas one more time before washing them. Turning off the water while you brush your teeth. Thinking of new ways to conserve. Reminding grown-ups to be green too. Being green means doing whatever we can to protect the Earth's precious resources. It means that understanding that one bus carries as many people as 40 cars. Each minute, 100 acres of rainforest are being cut down. 1/3 of the water used in most homes is flushed down the toilet. If all newspaper were recycled, we could save about 250 million trees each year. That's a lot of trees. Your food travels an average of 1,500 miles to be on your plate. Recycling one glass bottle saves enough energy to light a 100-watt bulb for 4 hours. So tell your friends what it means to be green and spread the word. If we can all be green, we can save the world. Recycle! All right. Their mission for Reina Diorio's mission is Little Pickle Press is dedicated to helping parents and educators cultivate conscious, responsible little people by inspiring our readers to help children in need, celebrate diversity, and protect the environment. 10% of the purchase price of your book will be happily donated to Starlight Children's Foundation. And they even showed us that we print and distribute our materials in an environmentally friendly manner using recycled paper, soy inks, and green packaging. So they do what they say, right? They follow what they believe. All right, and so then I have a video for you on BrainPop for you to watch, okay? And some things that I want you to notice are, what does recycling mean? How can we conserve? Why do we recycle? Why is it important to save our Earth? Okay?
Anything you throw out and can't reuse. One person can throw away over 1,000 pounds of trash a year. Together, we make tons of waste. A lot of trash winds up in our landfills. Some waste is biodegradable, which means it breaks down in our environment naturally. A lot of waste is not biodegradable. It can cause a lot of problems and harm the soil, water, and air. But there's a lot we can do to help our environment. by using less stuff and using only what we need. You can reduce how much water you use by turning the faucet off when you're not using it. A natural resource is something of value we get from the environment. Water, plants, animals, and soil are all natural resources. It's important to conserve or save our natural resources. Since natural resources power many of our homes and cars, we should reduce the amount of energy we use. We can turn off the lights when we don't need them. We can reduce the energy we use to cool our homes, and we can save energy by turning down the heater a little. We can also reduce waste by reusing items. How do we reuse? When you reuse something, you use it again and again. Items that you only use once are disposable and cause a lot of waste. It's much better to use items that you can use over and over again. Plastic bags can take hundreds of years to break down. We can use reusable bags instead. Instead of throwing away broken toys, you can fix them. You can also give away toys, books, furniture, and clothing you don't want anymore. Then they can be reused by other people. How do we recycle? When you recycle, you use materials from old items to make new items. You can recycle things like plastic bottles, cans, glass, paper, and even batteries. Aluminum cans and bottles can be recycled to make new cans and bottles. Steel can be recycled and used to make steel for buildings. Parts from old electronic equipment can be used to make new electronic equipment. The plastic from plastic bottles can be turned into rugs, shoes, clothing, and even playground equipment. Recycling saves energy and natural resources. When you recycle paper, you save trees from being cut down. It's important to care for our environment. We only have one planet, and it's up to all of us to take care of it. I think you can take that uniform off now, Moby.
Alright. Okay, so I want to talk about some vocabulary and words that you thought or you recognized and what they mean and giving examples to them, okay? So, here are some of the words that went over in the video and that we can talk about. Okay, so what do you know about the word conserve?
It means to use less of something.
To use less of something, okay. What about you, Alani? What do you think about when you think of the word conserve?
To save things, like reuse things.
To save, reuse, okay. What about some examples of conserving? What does it look like?
Turning off lights if you're not in the room.
Turning off lights. What else? What are some other examples
Riding a bus.
of riding a bus? What else? What other ways can you conserve energy?
To walk.
To walk?
Yeah.
Okay.
To throw away trash in recycling bins.
Okay. Recycling. Do you recycle all items or do you recycle only certain items?
Only certain items.
Only certain items. What items?
Plastic.
Plastic.
Metal. Metal.
Metal. Okay.
Paper.
Paper. Anything else you recycle? What did they say in the video?
You can recycle clothes.
You can recycle clothes too, yeah.
Toys.
Toys. Cool. I think that's a pretty good list. All right. What about reducing? What does reducing mean?
Do you know?
Or what do you think of when you think of reduce?
Not as much. As
Yeah.
something.
Not as much.
To
Okay.
make less of something.
Make less. Use not as much. What would be an example of reducing? Or reduce.
Oh, like using less water in the shower.
Using less water in the shower. Nice. What does Dad always yell at us about when we leave a room?
Turn off the light.
Turn off the lights, right? So we're reducing our energy usage when we turn off the lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about other ways we can reduce?
Stop using so many plastic water bottles.
Plastic water bottles. So how can we solve that?
Use a metal one instead that you can reuse.
Okay. Using reusable bottles.
Reusable plastic bags.
Use reusable bags and bottles. Awesome.
Instead of plastic ones.
Okay. What about so that works into reuse. So what does reuse mean?
Reuse is to use an item again and again.
Use an item again and again. What are some examples of reusing things?
Like the bags and the bottles and
Mhm.
stuff.
Reusable
Instead
bags.
of using like plates, like paper plates, you can use glass stuff.
Glass
and
plates.
reuse it.
And
And
those
also,
Tupperware containers when you're
Mhm.
taking things places. What other things about reusing?
they said in the video that you could wear your pajamas again instead of washing them like the first time.
Wear clothes more than once before wash. All right. And what about recycling? What does recycling mean?
To take an old object and
Use
reuse
it
it for a
for
new
new.
thing.
Yes.
An old object into a new object. Do you know of any examples of recycling? What are some examples of recycling?
We can use paper. Reuse paper.
Reuse paper.
Both sides.
All right. What other recycling methods?
You can use the metal bottle.
Using metal bottle.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, what's another way we could reuse clothes?
Oh, we could, like, if they don't fit us anymore, we could give them
To other people.
another
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
Hand-me-downs. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good idea of these words: conserve, reduce, reuse, recycle. We're gonna focus on conserving and recycling for our project, but it's good to outline and see how all of these work together. Cause you know how like you've seen like some that are triple dipping, like using reusable bags, reducing less waste. That's also reusing bags, and then some of them are even made out of recycled materials. So it's using all three. So they're very interconnected, and they're all trying to conserve and help with our environment. All right, and then Cassandra's going to lead you through an activity when we're looking at a blog post, because our end product, like I said and we talked about, is an informative blog post letting people know why it's important to recycle or why we should recycle, or giving a guide of how to recycle, everything like that. So Cassandra's going to lead you through some articles. I have them pulled up, okay?
Alright, so can you guys tell me what an informative piece is? What is its purpose?
To inform readers about a certain topic that you want to discuss.
Okay, so you wanna teach the reader about a certain topic, give them some new skills maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So what's an example of a informative text that you might have used? Even think back to school. What's some informative text that you might use in school?
How do you know?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, this doesn't count.
So an informative text, it's supposed to teach you something.
I read a text about the usage of social media.
Okay, that would be one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you one. Your textbook can be an informative text. It's teaching you new content, new lessons. A newspaper article could be an informative text, and so could a blog post. So the first thing we're going to do, we're actually going to do a feature walk through a blog called Kids Guide to Recycling. So I'm not going to have you read the whole thing. I just want you to scroll through the blog, and identify where the titles are, the headings. So they would be like the smaller sections, the titles of the smaller sections.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to the media, the pictures, the videos that might be in it. Even go as far as to identifying like where the main text is. So go ahead and just look through. If we had a printed out version, I would have you mark all of these things, but for online purposes, just look through for 2 minutes. Here we go. Give me a thumbs up when you've scrolled through a good amount. You got the gist of it. Good? Okay. Alright, so since you weren't able to write on it, I went ahead and I printed it and I marked it myself. So in green, I marked all of the headings and titles. In pink, you have the images or the videos. In yellow, I have all of the text, so the continuous text. What's one thing you noticed about the use of media, the use of pictures and videos? How do they use it in this blog post?
They use a lot of green coloring.
Okay, they use green. What else do you notice? How frequent the use of pictures is?
Is very frequent. It's on every heading
Or paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Heading of every paragraph. All right. What can I get from just looking at the pictures?
items
for each
that
heading.
items that can correspond to or represent recycling.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Did you notice anything structurally about this text? Like how is it formatted? How does the writer go about introducing this topic of recycling? What do you think? I was just looking at the headings and as a reference.
It's using like what, why, and like why you should recycle, and it gives you multiple reasons
How
to
you
do it and
can.
how you can.
So it starts out with the why, or I would even say it starts out with just telling you what is recycling. That's the first subheading. What is recycling? This is what you can recycle. It's giving you that background knowledge. And then it goes into what is reusing, what is reducing, more background knowledge. Why should we recycle? So I would structure it as it gives you the background knowledge, it tells you why. Let's keep looking. What do you see after it tells you why we should recycle?
Hold on, we're scrolling.
Take your time.
Okay, so why recycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gives you reasons how you can.
It gives you specific things and how you can recycle them.
Yes, yes. And then after, so it gives you the background knowledge, why it's important, what recycling is, and how each thing can be recycled. What do you see further on?
Tips on how we can recycle ourselves.
It tells you how. So that's a nice way that the writer guides the reader through. The reader might not know anything about the topic, so you have to teach them and tell them this is what it is, this is why it's important, and how to go about doing it. So if you take a look at this worksheet, it looks like a fence. Do you have printouts of this?
Yes.
You can go ahead and write for your topic, we're doing recycling. And then I wrote who, what, when, where, and why.
You want to get that blue pen?
Go.
You get it from Lynn.
Sweet. Alright. They have them ready.
Sorry, I'm just looking at something. Lexi, did you want to do the gate or the other one first? I can't see it.
We can do the yeah, well, let's do the who, what, where, when, why first. The gate.
Okay. All right. So
4, 5.
So who do you think will come up and read this blog post? Who is our audience? Who do we want to teach about
Who do you
recycling?
want to teach about recycling?
Everyone.
Everyone?
But-
Can you just everyone?
Well, not about this one, but about this is about ours now. Okay?
Yes, ours.
So this is about the ones that we're going to be making, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So who do you want to read? This is what Cassandra's asking.
The people who don't recycle already. I mean, but they probably wouldn't read this because they probably wouldn't care enough.
Well, that's okay. We're trying to give them that new information so that they do care.
Yes.
I would go as far as to say we want our readers to have access to the internet. So So just internet browsers.
You can put this down. Put these
Oh, where?
on the who section.
So where am I reading?
People who don't recycle.
There's people who don't recycle.
So, what's the age of our reader? What do you think? Do we want this to be for adults? Do we want this to be something that kids can understand, kids can read?
Yes.
You want it to be for kids?
Yes.
Okay. So what about recycling do we want to teach these kids?
How to do
Yeah,
it
how to.
and what materials they can use.
So what materials can be recycled? Think back to the structure of our mentor text. What did they, before they taught them what materials can be recycled, what did they have to tell the reader first?
What
Recycling is.
Yes.
What recycling is? I'd say we want to teach them why it's important. Is there a specific thing you want to teach to recycle? Do you want to teach them to just recycle plastic? Do you want to teach them to make recycling a holistic practice? So like recycling clothes, recycling paper,
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
holistic. All right. When is it important to recycle?
All the time.
Be more specific, because
When you
You're-
have the
I'm
opportunity,
sleeping.
when you have the opportunity to just say, instead of throwing away something that you don't want, you can reuse it for something else. Just small opportunities that can help the environment.
Okay. Small opportunities. What would be an example of that?
Like instead of using one side of the paper, you can use the other one. Or like throwing away something. Instead of throwing it away, you could reuse it.
Okay, so every time you want to throw something away, we can put that.
Is under when.
We can come back to this one. Let's go to where. Where should we be recycling? Be more specific. Don't just say everywhere.
In our houses, like we could get recycling bins.
Okay. In our houses. How about in the schools?
Yes.
Where else?
Parks.
The parks. I didn't think about that one, yeah? I'm gonna add when we're at work. So when adults go to work, they should be recycling too. How about when you leave your house? What are the places that you might visit that you need to recycle?
The grocery store.
The gas
Grocery
station.
store.
Say that one again, Lonnie.
The gas station.
Gas station. What about the library?
Have you ever seen a recycling bin at the beach?
No.
No,
Not
at the
really.
beach. You can add that.
That's surprising. I actually don't. That's surprising. Well, I mean, I am.
Okay. And we're moving on to the why. Why is it important that we recycle?
To conserve the materials we're using and not build up waste.
To help the environment.
So we're gonna help the environment. I'm gonna write reducing our waste. You have any other ideas? Think of some of the problems this waste has caused. What are these problems that we want to fix?
Damage to the soil, the plants, trees.
And especially the animals in the water.
Okay. Protect, I'm gonna write protect the animals. I'm going to add lower pollution in our oceans. In the landfill. Do you know what a landfill is?
Yes.
What's a landfill?
That's when all the trash is built up in it, and that's where all the trash goes.
Do you know where these are?
I do not.
You know, I could be wrong. I'll have to double check, but I'm almost positive that, you know, when you're driving on the highway, those grass hills that are holding up the roads.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not wrong, those have trash buried underneath them as a layer.
Oh, really?
I'll have to double check, but. And for fun, let's just add climate change. Do you know what climate change is? What climate is?
I do, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You can be broad. It's okay.
What about examples? Can you think of anything?
Well, like the polar bears, like it's getting really hot where they are, and like the glaciers and stuff are melting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a drastic change in the climate. Kind of. Yeah,
Was there anything you wanted to add, Lexi?
I think you did. You got it. That was awesome. Yeah. All right. So then I have the second sheet. It's the planning chart. So this will help us distinguish what we want to write about and who we want to write to for our blog posts. So of the purposes that we have here, let's see. I'll let you write your name and everything that you want to write. Okay, so of the purposes, it says to tell a story, to tell a made-up story, to describe a person, place, or thing, to explain how to do something, to find something out, to give an opinion, or to ask something or other. So there could be more than one. So what's one purpose you think of writing a informative blog post about recycling would be?
To explain how to do something.
To explain how to do something. Okay, so that's one purpose.
Do we circle it?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and circle it. Is there another purpose that you see here that could go with recycling?
To find something out.
To find something out? Yeah. You know, we're always learning, so even when you're writing this blog post, you could always learn something new from when writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about is there one other thing?
To describe a person, place, or thing.
Yeah.
We have to give the definition.
Yeah, we're gonna give a definition, right? Awesome. Perfect. All right. So then, our audience. Who will read this?
Oh, our audience, yes. We want to write to kids.
You want to write to kids, okay? Can you tell me more? Kids who what?
kids who should be educated on these things so when they grow older they can keep doing it.
So would it be safe to say kids who don't know how to recycle?
Or don't know what it is.
Don't know what recycling is? Okay. Kids who are...
Uneducated about recycling.
Okay. Uninformed about recycling. They're uninformed, not uneducated. All right. And then, what do they already know about about my topic? So, what do you think they know about recycling already? Do they think recycling exists, or do they know maybe about conserving energy? What do you think?
They probably know that it involves reusing things, because a lot of places have places where you're able to recycle materials and put them inside.
Okay. So it's something they may already know about my topic. What else?
Some just think just throwing away something in a certain bin is all they can help to do, but there's way more things.
Okay, yeah. So they might know that they're throwing something in a specific bin. All right. What do you want them to know?
What it means to recycle and what and how to recycle.
Okay. What, how to, and then there's a really important another W that Cassandra went over.
And why.
And why, right? So we want them to know what is recycling, how to recycle, and why it's important to recycle, right? Alright, and then what part of my topic would interest them most? What are some things that you might want to highlight or make sure to, you've got to make sure to put these in the blog post because kids will find them to be interesting.
Pictures.
Pictures, okay. Yeah.
Or ways how it actually affects them. Like,
yeah, that's a really good thing, yeah. How they can do it in their homes. What about you, Lonnie? What were you going to say?
Just having color color added to maybe highlight something, it will bring their attention to that topic.
Okay.
Oh.
5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. What about when we talked about why it's important? Do you think is there like a topic that kids love to read about? What do you think?
Oh, animals.
Animals.
Yeah.
Kids love animals, right? So
yeah, how it affects them.
How it affects them, right? Kids love animals, so I think that's a really cool thing that we can include in our blog post about how it might affect animals. Look at you. That was a really good topic. Anything else? Anything else you want to add to what you want them to know, or even when we went over the garden fence, who, what, where, when, why?
Oh, we need to know when they can do it.
Okay.
Like, in certain places and stuff, or ways that they can help further recycling.
I think what they should know is the effects that it causes, because then it might change their outlook of wanting to do more to help.
Okay, so yeah, cause and effects. Right. What about in the article that we went over, that Cassandra showed us? What about right here? You want to read that, Alina?
The do's and don'ts of recycling.
Do you think it's important to include what you shouldn't do too.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they could think that it could help, but it actually doesn't.
Yeah, right? I like that. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me and Cassandra lead you into writing. So next week, then we're gonna do our writing. We're gonna focus more about forming our blog posts about recycling. So, what is there something that before I say what I think they should do during this week before our next lesson? Is there something else that you want to say, Cassandra, about like what we should do next week or what they should research or find out?
I would just say to keep your eyes open and look around you. Think about ways that you see recycling being done, what you think should be done, and just general things that interest you about the topic that you might want to add to this blog post.
Yeah, that's the same
Keep
thing.
recycling in your head, look around, and then have something to talk about when we come back.
Think about like the most important, like if you were to write like a bullet point list of the most important aspects of recycling, what they mean, and even think about like what are 3 different ways that we can recycle, okay? Because we're writing like a 5-paragraph blog post and we want to have 3 different topics, so think about one way, and one way, okay? So if we could do like why it's important,